bring that music down. Welcome guys, welcome to Thursday stream here. Oh, welcome guys. Hello. Hello, lovely, hello. Alright. So let's get started. Let's get into this right away. So you guys should know from the title, we're going to be talking about eVTOLs, okay, or UAVs. I mean, they're kind of in the same category. They're in the drone category, right? But obviously, eVTOLs will be vehicles that will be carrying actual humans, and we're potentially looking to have traffic in the air, just right above our heads, right? As cars are on the ground. But obviously, not as high as airplanes, but you usually see in you know, futuristic movies, right? Sci-fi movies. And we're just in the very, very early stages of eVTOLs, and you know, the proof of concept is there. The technology is still developing, but obviously there's a lot of safety concerns and there's a lot of logistics that they have to go through to even make it even work, right? Because you have to realize, you know, how would I think we just lost. Oh, I think we're good here. We're back? We're back. Okay, yeah, so the logistics and, you know, the safety regulations and just overall, it's not there yet, right? Because think about it, how are we gonna have, you know, stop signs or lights, right? And obviously, I think there's gonna be a lot of, once the eVTOL industry actually is viable and we actually see, not just testing, but people actually taking them, right? And there's actual demand for it, which I think there will be because of the fact that people want to avoid the traffic, especially in huge metropolises like LA, right? Or New York, for example. I'm pretty sure there's some companies like JOBY Aviation that's doing some testing in Dubai, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's JOBY, or I don't know if that's ACHR Aviation, but we'll go over them. So either way, you know, I think within this industry, this burgeoning industry itself, obviously there's a lot of momentum and hype around it because it's a futuristic idea / company. I think it's just like with the AI industry and the AI revolution. There's gonna be a lot of innovative tech that will be born out of eVTOLs becoming mainstream. Because, for example, I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of technology surrounding the actual traffic, quote-unquote traffic laws and following a set route or route on these eVTOLs. And I think it's pretty, maybe it's not obvious, but to me it seems obvious that they're probably going to use some sort of augmented reality goggles or some sort of augmented reality that can be placed on the windshield of these flying quote-unquote cars, right? Because I mean that only makes sense, right? Just like what we've seen in, if you guys seen Blade Runner, right? They have those flying cars, right? And if you take a look at their the most recent reboot, the remake, excuse me, of Blade Runner, those cars had those you know, the screen, quote unquote screen, that's displayed across the windshield, and I think that makes sense, right? And are we back? We're back. So the connection's a little bit spotty this week. I don't know why, but it's not my Wi-Fi, it's not my my streaming platform here. But either way, hopefully this is not interrupting what I'm saying here, the flow of my my words here too much. My apologies, guys. But as I was saying, I think that innovation of, or potential new technologies that are born from needing such type of innovation, where we have this kind of augmented reality glasses, or the fact that we're gonna have like AR displayed onto the windshields of these eVTOLs. I think it's another like layer of technology that will be developed, software and technology that will have to be developed for this specific industry. And again, you know, this is still very much an idea. We have tests. A lot of these eVTOL companies have already done their initial testing, but they have yet to go through for actual commercial usage, right? For people in public, for example, to use. And I'm pretty sure for the next year or two, let's say the next 2 years, it's going to be a lot of focus on companies that are able to pass all the safety regulations, and they pass all the, whatever check marks that they have, right, for their plans to have their eVTOLs to be actually used by people, right, by the public, and in a safe manner as well, right? Because eventually, they need to see if there's going to be actual demand. Even if there's demand, we need to see actual evidence of that, right? If people are actually going to take them. And in order to do that, they need to gain the public's trust, right? If there's going to be any type of commercial usage of these, public usage of these quote-unquote flying cars. And, we just need to see that demand. And again, the idea of the fact that I personally think that there's going to be demand is not enough. We need to see actual people using it on a daily basis, right? To go from point A to point B to avoid the ground traffic that we get from regular cars with wheels. Obviously, these also have wheels too, because some eVTOLs, some companies are developing different types of eVTOLs where they need actually a little bit of a runway, like from an airport to get a lift off. But obviously, most of them, or at least all of them, that are focusing on the future air travel are focusing on vertical takeoff, right? So, I think again, I've even talked about this in my privacy of a Discord chat room in exactly a month ago from today, or a month ago and a month, 1 month and 1 month and 1 day ago. That even just the fact that there are companies innovating and developing and pouring a lot of money into R&D into batteries specifically for the use for eVTOLs to use, right? So that's another part of where I'm talking about the fact that there's going to be multiple layers of innovation that will be needed to bring this overall concept of eVTOLs to life, right? And I specifically talked about that, and I even gave a great example. So AMPX, okay, this is a company that has been actively working on really good, long-lasting long-lasting batteries for unmanned drones, right? What do you call it? eVTOLs here, and we made that trade right here, right on the day that I talked about it, because it looks so good, all right? And I eventually took profits right here, these 2 days, on my equity. I took out my final piece of equity right here, but obviously this went much higher. Well, not much higher, but it did reach about 1.5 points higher than where I exited. So, I mean, I'm still fine with that, right? So this is like another great example of the fact that what I just said earlier, a couple minutes earlier, that this overall eVTOL industry will definitely bring about more layers of innovation. Just think of it like an onion, right? The more you peel back, right, you get more and more layers, right? And that's exactly what's happening with the current AI revolution. And I think the eVTOL industry is going to have their own little hyper micro onion of layers of innovation that will happen, and that will need to happen. So batteries is one thing, and the fact that we need an actual windshield that displays, some sort of AR, right, where it can show the path of where the eVTOL is going, for example, or this quote unquote windshield can show you the time of arrival, potentially maybe needing to stop at a certain intersection of the air traffic, right, or air roads. I don't know what they will call it by then, but at that point, I'm pretty sure we're going to have air traffic, specific air roads that eVTOLs will take, and obviously there's going to be eVTOLs that need to stop at a certain point, quote unquote, air intersection, I guess, and to let other eVTOLs pass first, etc. Or maybe I'm just putting too much of our current roads right now, where we're driving underground, into the air, right? Maybe I shouldn't be doing that, but it just makes sense that we'll kind of follow the same type of rules on the ground to the skies, right? Because again, we're not really going into like 35,000 feet like with airplanes, right? Commercial airplanes, but we're just kind of staying away from the ground, right, to avoid all that ground traffic. And I think I don't know exactly how high they're supposed to go, I know, let's see, how high are eVTOLs supposed to go? Let's see. I think it was like a couple hundreds of feet, right? No. Oh, I'm completely off. Way more. So depending on what, well, obviously depending on the city and apparently called the urban air mobility, these air taxis or these flying cars are planned to be flying between 1,500 to 4,000 feet above ground level here. So, okay. Interesting. Okay. I don't know why I never researched that up. Just a simple statistic there. Crucial data for eVTOLs. But yeah, so this is very interesting to me. And so I'm really wondering how viable it's going to be, for example, because again, this is still just a it's an idea. Obviously, they have the technology right now. They're developing these quote unquote air taxis or flying cars, and they've been testing it on and off multiple times throughout the year, depending on their testing schedules, and obviously getting the right permits and everything. But now let's segue into the main topic I want to talk about tonight, which is E8. This is Hong's eVTOL company, right? So this is China's main eVTOL company that has gotten a lot. They have garnered a lot of worldwide attention, and especially from other eVTOL companies that are based in the U.S., like I think Archer. I'm pretty sure Archer Aviation is based in the U.S. Okay. And also, obviously, JOBY as well, which is another leading eVTOL company. And I only knew about JOBY Aviation or JOBY because of the fact that Toyota Motors, right? Toyota has been pouring billions into that company, investing in that company, and providing the funds that they need to do R&D, right? And obviously to do all the tests as well, all the testings. So with Toyota just giving them a copious amount of funds and money, JOBY definitely has, well, they do have an edge over other competitors, right? So now with EH or EHang, right? They are definitely in the lead here. I think I read an article where one of their vehicles, I think it's called what is it? EH2, let me pull this up here. Yeah, EH216-S, right? So this vehicle is already at its type certification stage, right? And I think a lot of companies other companies are in their full-scale prototype first flight. Okay. Oh no, sorry. I got that wrong. I think I got that wrong there. That's the okay. It's the EHang VT-35 vehicle that's in the subscale prototype first flight. So China is really leading in the eVTOL industry because I don't know if in China they have less regulation, but seems like most of the other companies with like Archer and JOBY, they're kind of having trouble passing certain tests, like the prototype tests and or even like full-scale prototype first flights or full-scale prototype full envelope. So these are all different stages where they can eventually go towards full-scale component testing or even subscale component testing as well. So I'm pretty sure I'm reading this right, or maybe I was there's a chart that I made for myself, and I don't really quite remember how I put this chart. Interesting. I don't know why I didn't put the actual the stages of development for eVTOLs, but let me see here. I need to make sure I'm reading this correctly before I even give you guys this information. Okay, yeah. So the way I explained it is correct. Okay, so based on this chart, guys, all right, EH and XPeng, which is, if you guys didn't know this, okay, XPEV, all right, this is the other Chinese eVTOL name as well. This one is the leading. It has the leading. The only leading eVTOL out there that is nearly there to be actually used in a commercial setting, right? For where people in the public can use it. So it's the only quote unquote air taxi or quote unquote flying car that is at the subscale component testing. So that's the last and final stage, development stage, for these eVTOLs to go to if they want approval to be finally used by the public. Okay, and obviously there's more steps after that too to be officially, you know, be used by public. I don't know exactly what it is, but this is just the development progress, and this is the last stage of the development for these eVTOLs. And so XPEV is leading, but right behind XPEV is EH. Okay, and that's the reason why I want to take a look at EH today, because again, XPEV definitely is doing well, right? I mean, just from a technical perspective too, but EH is a close second. And I also want to talk about EH because they do in the next couple of days, they're revealing a new eVTOL in their line of eVTOLs they have, and I believe they have it right now that are still in testing. But like I said earlier, the EHang's VT-35, it's at full-scale component testing. So right before the last stage, which is the subscale component testing, which again, XPEV leads in that. They have the only eVTOL in the world where it's already at its subscale component testing. So overall, what I'm trying to say here, guys, instead of repeating myself here now, that China is leading in eVTOL, right? Now, you know, obviously China has the manufacturing, logistics down as well, and just this company alone on XPEV, right? They hold a lot of power and money to continue to make their leading vehicle, which I think it's called XPeng Aero HT, the model X5. That one, they can possibly even start to have a full-scale, full-scale production of that vehicle, right? And so, you know, what happened to my music here? Oh, there it is. Okay, so, you know, with XPEV obviously rising from the lows here and it's staying at these double digits, I want to take a look at EH because it hasn't moved, right? It hasn't moved for 3 years, right? So to me, this is a little bit more intriguing for me from a risk perspective, and the fact that EH is a catalyst in the next few days, where they're about to reveal a new vehicle. I think it's called okay, we're back. Okay, wow, this connectivity issues are kind of annoying me now, but anyways, sorry guys, I'm drinking some boba here. Anyways, guys, I think with the future prospects for EHang, I think we need to really start looking at the levels that are overhead here. So let's do the technical analysis on the weekly time frame for EHang. And yeah, so let's first off begin with the fact that the price has kind of been bogged down by this whole number resistance level at $20. And if this catalyst, this event for EHang for their VT-35 vehicle is successful, and whatever information that they decide to come out for this VT-35 vehicle, eVTOL, I'm pretty sure we'll be able to see some sort of a massive run up over $20, as we've seen multiple times in the past. We've seen it here, we've seen it here, right? We've seen multiple attempts here and here. Okay, so obviously there's a lot of overhead supply once we try to get past $20. We've just seen this very recently, just this year alone, right? We even formed a nice descending resistance trend line here as well, on top of the horizontal whole number resistance level at $20, right? So, you know, this $20 multi-year resistance level, okay, has been really bogging the price down, and obviously this is a huge major level of support in the past. Is a previous level of support. So if we're able to flip this into a new level of support again, once we're able to go past this $20 level, maybe because due to the fact that we're about to head into this potential catalyst on regarding their VT-35 eVTOL, which is again still in its third to last stage in its development progress. So that's the third stage is called the the third to last stage, which is the subscale prototype first flight, and maybe they're going to reveal that they've successfully gone towards the second to last stage, which is the full scale component testing. And maybe if that goes well, then they possibly can state that you know, they think it's an easy road ahead towards the last stage, which is going to be the subscale component testing stage, which is the last stage before I'm pretty sure they can start to go through all the last steps and just other, I don't know, regulatory stuff that they have to go through with China's government, whatever it may be, before they can start actually providing rides to their official citizens, right? So again, I think with this catalyst in mind, if we're able to break over $20 here, EH has a lot of reasons to move to $26. Okay, so right here, bam. Okay, now the reason why I'm also saying this is that, well, from a trade idea perspective, okay, I want to look at some leaps, because I think leaps make sense to me. If EHang is successful with the testing with the two of their vehicles, well, obviously one of their vehicles is really leading so far, but if their current vehicle that they're currently developing is doing extremely well and can go to the last stage here of the development progress, I think it has a lot of potential to do well for leaps if we execute on these specific contracts. So here it is. Okay, so I was looking at this the options chain for EH, and guess what? So EH in the January 15, 2027 expiration date already had a massive in the money call contract that had huge amount of OI, right? So there's 58,585 contracts that are still open, and it's very deep in the money at this point, right? So it's over 8 points from or excuse me, it's under 8 points, right, from the obviously from the current price to the actual strike price, right? So this contract's very deep in the money, but I'm not looking to play this, right? Because it's a vertical debit spread that's been opened, right? Which I don't know why this is opened, but if you take a look at the 25 strike call contract on the same expiration date, January 15, 2027, we have a very similar amount of OI, right? This is 59,000 contracts that are opened and they're still holding on this specific strike, on this contract, on this call contract here. And I don't think it's a coincidence here. So this vertical debit spread is where they have sold this 25 strike call contract in order to finance the buying of this very deep in the money call contract. Well, now it's deep in the money call contract at the $10 strike call contract. right? So now you might be asking yourself, okay, so if I were to open this vertical debit spread tomorrow, right? How much would each spread cost me? Well, it's very easy. Subtract $10.10 to $3.20, and there is your cost of that the spread, or to open the spread, right? Or multiple spreads if you want to, right? So we have a defined risk and reward there, right? The risk is the initial upfront premium that you have to pay, right? Which is going to be $10.10 minus $3.20. And then obviously the reward will be defined as well. And obviously with the vertical debit spread, you want to make sure that before expiration, or preferably nearing expiration or at expiration, ideally, the most ideal moment will be leading into the expiration, right? So maybe maybe a week before expiration, or maybe like 2 weeks before expiration. We want to see the price staying above $25 or at $25 minimum, right? Minimum at $25, or at least way above $25. That'll be ideal, right? So, you know, I think there's a good possibility that I think in the longer term, since this is 2 years out, guys. Well, it's a year and a couple months out now, but no. Yeah. So almost 2 years, right? So, you know, well, I'll just say 2 years from now, just to make things easier, right? It has a lot of time for this company to solidify its current valuation and to further convince Wall Street that it can have a higher valuation and can go to, you know, let's say $30 or $35 per share or even more, right? And you know, as long as EH's VT35 vehicle, eVTOL is successful, I think this one has every chance to continue higher, right? And especially leading up into the event that we're about to have on October 13th, right? Which is 4 days from now, which is going to be 3 days tomorrow. I think there's a good chance that we should be opening these this vertical debit spread, or if you just want to play, you know, any of the strikes in between these two strikes, which is a huge spread here, or if you just want to play the naked contract of 25 strike call contract, that's fine. Why? Because again, really long expiration date, right? And if, you know, if the prices continue to stick around underneath $20, this is also not going to move as much, right? So, you know, I think the vega for this is quite low too. So the volatility is not going to really move premium as much as well. Even if the underlying price does move a lot in either direction. But as we get closer to the expiration date, hopefully for all of next year, eHong can definitely continue to work on their current vehicle that is, again, the second leading eVTOL in the entire world. Again, XPEV, okay, XPeng leads in the eVTOL race, right, with their, what's it called again? XPeng Aero HT, which is specifically their X5 model, is in the last stage, the subscale component testing stage for the development progress of eVTOLs. And so if EH is able to continue to lean into their leading eVTOL right now, which is the VT35 vehicle, and they work on it for all of next year, then the share price will most definitely reflect that, right? And we can see a good valuation where we can at least be above $25, and we can hopefully see before expiration, if you were to get this naked option call contract, see this contract be minimum at the money before expiration, or deep in the money ideally by expiration. Does that make sense, guys? Okay, so with that being said, that is EH. Okay, that is your trade idea and overall outlook for EH. And obviously, $26 is a pretty conservative target for me. But again, we don't know what's going to happen in the next year, and next year, right? So we need to be realistic here, and obviously be very, very careful about even if you're opening up leaps, don't get stuck on the idea that just because they have a lot of time, it means that you should be pouring all of your money into that one single contract on a singular stock like EH, which is again, is a huge contributor to the eVTOL industry that is still in its infancy, is what I would say, right? Even though there are companies like EH and XPEV that is leading in the industry, right? So again, China is leading. Know that. Okay, please know that. Okay, so with that in mind, okay, let's take a look at the other eVTOL company that I personally really like, because Toyota is really ramping up their investments into this company. I think it's been like, what is it? I think they had like 3 separate investments into JOBY, and 2 of them have been valued at a couple billion, I think. I'm pretty sure. Okay, so JOBY, if you guys didn't know, we were looking at this earlier this year, and I completely missed out on this one. Right? So I gave an entry point over $9.35, which is the confirmation entry point for a breakout to the upside. And obviously this had a massive run up as JOBY got more attention and more momentum from investors and obviously all the momentum traders out there. But the overall fact that Toyota has poured billions into this company in order to make it work just leads me to believe that Toyota likes what they're saying, and it's not like they're just throwing money around, which again, that could be the case, but again, Toyota, which is a Japanese company, Japan is also their economy is kind of dying, right? And they need some sort of innovation, and so the fact that the one of the biggest companies in Japan, which is Toyota Motors, right, ticker symbol TM, is pouring money into such an innovative, futuristic company like JOBY Aviation, is pretty interesting to me. And I think that you guys should really keep your eyes on JOBY, solely for the fact that Toyota has been pouring billions of dollars into this company to make them work and to make sure that their vehicle has the money and the runway cash and needs to continue its business operations, right, for the next 3 to 5 years. Okay, so I think again, overall, from a longer term perspective, JOBY, definitely keep your eyes on this one, even though Chinese eVTOL companies are still leading. Okay, so now from a technical perspective, this is all you need to be looking out for. And let me just actually move this away. Okay, massive bull flag will most definitely be developing here, and it'll take months. Okay, I'll let you guys know that now. It'll take months for this massive weekly bull flag to form. Okay, or bull pennant if you want to be a bit specific there. Okay, so do not be trying to just slam all of your money into this one singular ticker like I just told you guys with EH, because again, I would still recommend some equity for both EH and JOBY here. But again, if you guys want to use options, go right ahead. But I would wait until we are able to at least clear $19. So again, wait, be patient, allow the price to develop this month-long weekly time frame bull pennant chart pattern. Okay, obviously you guys can still see this flag that will most likely develop on the monthly time frame as well, like this. Okay, but I want to make it a little bit more clear for you guys on this specific time frame, so that's the reason why I'm on the weekly. But anyways, right, you guys get my point. Okay, and as far as looking for an option contract for JOBY, obviously JOBY, I would also recommend looking at leaps as well, because why not? I mean, why shouldn't we, right? So I specifically will also go to that January 15th 2027 expiration date, and guess what, there's a lot of activity that's going on. Okay, and this one, there's less of a call skew, it's a bit more balanced, but still, there's still a lot of open interest on JOBY, in the deep in the money contracts, because again they have been holding for quite some time. I believe all these contracts here, these call contracts, were opened, I'm pretty sure earlier this year, maybe mid this year, if my memory is not mistaking me here. Yeah, so it's around here. Yeah, it was around mid this year. Okay. Anyways, so a lot of the volume is already or open interest. Okay, it's already in these very deep in the money contracts, so you guys can still use this. I mean, there's no problem using these, and obviously dollar cost averaging into them as it continues to form this month-long, right, bull pennant chart pattern or bull flag chart pattern. So again, you guys can just choose whatever works for you, whatever is your preferred risk buying into these contracts here. But you know, hey Adrian, what's up? Thank you for this subscription. Thank you. Welcome. So, you know, hey, thank you guys for 7 likes as well. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying the stream. I know it's going. Let's see, we're at the 30-minute mark now, but hopefully you guys are being entertained, and then most importantly, this information is very, very enticing and most importantly applicable. Okay, so again, I want to give you guys some very good investment ideas using these elite contracts, and obviously you guys can choose to use equity through through my technical analysis, and obviously through my more my predictive analysis as well. Because again, I'm not looking at the fundamentals here, because most of these eVTOL companies they're not really fundamentally sound just yet, because again, they don't really have a commercially available aircraft yet, or again, quote unquote air taxis is what everyone likes to call them, or flying cars. But again, these Chinese eVTOL companies are really leading, and I wouldn't be surprised if these companies have some really good sound fundamentals in the next 3 to 5 years, or at least into the end of the decade. So please focus on EH and obviously XPEV as well, since they have the most advanced current eVTOL that is in the last stage of development. Okay, so that's what I would say for JOBY here. And last but not least, the most infamous one that's kind of taking everyone's attention is ACHR Aviation. So this one is, well, this company is a company that is, I think it's a fairly new company if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so it's a company that's founded in 2018, just like with any other eVTOL companies, they're fairly new. And this one, I think a day ago, 2 days ago or a day ago. Yeah. So I think one of their vehicles. Let's see here. I read this yesterday. I don't know why I don't remember. I think it reached the highest. Yeah, so it beat a record for eVTOLs, I think. Yeah, for their vertical takeoff aircraft, they broke the record for the height of where it went, right? So obviously that's the reason why ACHR has been really just very volatile as of late, and obviously this entire jump up higher. So that test broke that record high. Okay, so of eVTOLs in the sky as well. So that's interesting, right? But this one is a company based in the US, I think just like with JOBY as well, right? I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So, oh, that's right. So JOBY is in Santa Cruz, right? Santa Cruz, and ACHR is in San Jose, right? So that's interesting, right? And ACHR Aviation, obviously another eVTOL company that's in its infancy, and it's still in the development process. And this company has been getting a lot of momentum solely because of the fact that they have been getting a lot of contracts and collaborations, which is pretty interesting, right? I don't know what makes this company specifically better than JOBY or even EH or EHong, right? But hey, they're doing well, which is amazing, right? And I'm bullish on the overall eVTOL industry, so I wouldn't mind if any individual eVTOLs decide to continue higher by themselves if they wanted to. But again, fundamentals don't really matter. These are all, they have no revenue, right? They have no profits at all whatsoever. So again, that doesn't really matter to me at all. So Adrian, you said, I prefer technicals over fundamentals, to be honest. Yeah, I'm mostly a technical swing trader, okay? But yeah, I agree. When it comes to these no profit, zero revenue companies that are fully focused on R&D and burning cash, right? And obviously when you're burning cash like this, the main focus of these companies will definitely be their cash runway, right? How much cash that they have before they run out and they can't, well, do their business anymore, do their research, right? And that's the one thing that they have to focus on while they are pouring millions, if not tens of millions of dollars into R&D to develop this next level futuristic mode of transportation, right? So, ACHR, again, I same story with JOBY, okay? I wouldn't mind this going to the stratosphere. Okay, you can play this with equity if you want. So let me actually just do the quick TA here. You guys, I know you guys love my TA because it's always on point. Okay, so obviously we have a very nice solid resistance level right underneath this whole number level of $14, but obviously the actual resistance level sitting at $13.85. But again, if you guys just want to round up, just to $14, okay? There is a level here, a support level so far on the weekly time frame at 11 here. Okay. This is the immediate support level at $11. And on the weekly time frame, we're just seeing some very good long-term support and buying coming in at this major weekly 50 SMA, this dark blue line. You guys know I love my SMAs, right? I use specifically the 10, 21, 50, and 200 SMAs, simple moving averages. And I know a lot of other people use EMAs, especially day traders, but again, it doesn't matter what moving averages you use, right? As long as you're comfortable with them. And I've been using SMAs for 8+ years now, ever since I began being involved in the markets and trading in the equity markets, right? So, as long as you guys are comfortable with your moving averages, I don't care what you guys use, as long as you guys know what to do with those moving averages. If you don't know what you're doing with the moving averages, then there's no point in having it on your charts. Either way, my moving averages are looking extremely good on the weekly and monthly time frame, so the bigger picture time frames here. And the momentum is clearly there. I mean, even just on the RSI, right? Very good strength, very good RS, all right? I think there is a lot of re-rating that will come in for these 3 specific eVTOL companies, which is the major reason why tonight that I wanted to talk about JOBY, and ACHR. Okay, EHang, JOBY Aviation, and ACHR Aviation. Does that make sense, guys? Okay, and if you guys are wondering what I think about some option contracts, okay, so let me actually give you guys an actual specific tradable and applicable idea here. Just like I've shown you guys with EH, obviously EH was a lot more specific because I'm looking at that one personally, due to the fact that it has a catalyst coming up in less than 4 days here now. Okay, but if you want to look at ACHR, I'm also going to be looking at this one in the 2027 expiration date. Okay, so I don't look at 2028 just yet. Okay, so ACHR has a crazy amount of skew on its 2027 expiration date compared to like JOBY, but it looks very similar to EH, right? I mean, look at this. every single strike all the way up into the maximum strike for its January 15th, 2027 expiration date is filled up, right? So this 25 strike call contract, this naked call contract, if you guys want to choose this, I mean, fine with me. All these strikes are liquid, all the way down to the $2 strike call contract, right? So from deep in the money to all the way to very out the money, they're all liquid. So I'm sure you won't have too much of a problem getting filled. I mean, even today, the 15 strike call contract for ACHR here has gotten some activity. 1,073 contracts were traded today. So that's interesting. All right, so I'll be looking to see how much of this gets added into the OI. That's already high, right? But like I was just showing you guys earlier, a couple minutes ago, this 2028 expiration date is already getting some attention too. Okay, and this expiration date just came out for a lot of liquid tickers. I think like 2 months ago, or I think a month then. I think the timeline was generally 2 months ago. But yeah, so ACHR. I mean, you guys have your options. I don't really want to tell you exactly what contracts you guys want to use. If you want to use 15 strike call contract for ACHR, go right ahead. If you want to use 25 strike call contract, go right ahead. Again, the main theme for this stream is the fact that I am very bullish on eVTOL, specifically the Chinese companies, because they are leading. They have that money. They have that proof of concept. They have the fact that there are literally two vehicles, well, multiple vehicles that are nearing the end stages of the development progress, right? Or the development checklist is what I should be saying here, right? And there are a plethora of other smaller eVTOL companies in China. There's a lot actually. So it's not just XPeng or Yihong, okay? There's a bunch more. All right. I think there's one that's WeFly. I think WeFly is a Chinese company, eVTOL company, if I'm not mistaken. WeFly. I'm pretty sure. If I'm wrong about this, I'm sorry, guys. Yeah. Okay. My memory doesn't betray me here. So eVTOL, it's a Chinese eVTOL company, WeFly. And I also think there's another one here. Trans Future Aviation is also another Chinese eVTOL company. So there's a lot of already burgeoning competition that's happening in China, and just in one single nation alone. So with the fact that these two leading U.S. companies, JOBY and ACHR, are competing against the plethora of Chinese eVTOL companies that are already, where two of them have leading eVTOL vehicles, clearly tells me that we need to be leaning a little bit more of our attention towards the Chinese companies like XPeng and EH. Does that make sense, guys? All right, so there's a reason to be biased towards these Chinese eVTOL companies. Okay, and yes, again, no need to be focusing on the fundamental metrics, any of the fundamental metrics for fundamental analysis. There's no need to do a thorough fundamental analysis on these companies because they have zero revenue, zero profit, zero earnings. They're still in the stages of development. Okay, all right. Well, obviously some are way ahead. All right, does that make sense, guys? Okay, so that's pretty much it. Hopefully this nearly hour-long stream was helpful, guys. But before I end the stream, I am going to be giving out a more in-depth analysis this weekend in my official weekly CFO Springer Watch report. And again, if you guys don't know what that is, it is a top-down analysis report where it gives you a complete top-down analysis on the markets, top-down analysis on a singular swing trade or investment trade idea for that trading week, and a multitude of other specific trade ideas, and I go through them through fundamental and technical analysis. All right, and on top of that, I also give a crypto trade ideas or a crypto pick for that specific trading week, and it's a complete, thorough analysis of the markets. in order to give you guys more confidence leading into a new trading week and to give you guys actual, applicable, actionable trade ideas, whether it be day trades, swing trades, scalps, or investments. Okay? Does that make sense? Alright, so if you guys are needing something like that in your life where you don't have enough time to really just make that time to fully go in depth with fundamental analysis combined with technical analysis as well, and obviously looking into the latest news of the company and reading all the articles, reading the latest earnings reports, and etc. If you don't have time for any of that, your best guaranteed option to get all the information in a summarized and in layman's terms, okay, will be through the CFO Swing and Watch report. I can guarantee you guys that you guys will be able to find a lot of time to read that single report every single week on Sunday night. And you guys would thank yourselves for becoming a reader of the CFO Swing and Watch report because of how much time it saves. Alright? And again, I don't beat around the bush with anything that I say in the report, even if it's 10 pages, 12 pages, or 15 pages, right? Even if it might be long, you guys will get the gist of what I'm trying to say because I gave you guys the exact information and the most important information, and again, most importantly, applicable information that you guys can use on your actual trading and investment accounts. Alright? So with that being said, make sure you guys check the description box down below. Look at the second link where you guys can click on that link and subscribe to the CFO Swing and Watch report and become an official reader tonight. Alright? And if you do that tonight, you guys will also get a full access to the private CFO Discord community. Alright? So you get two things for the price of one, essentially. Okay, so once you become a reader of the CFO Swing and Watch report, you guys will automatically become a private member of the private CFO Discord community. Alright? Okay, so with all of that being said, I will see you guys next week on Monday at the same time at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time or 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and thank you all to everyone here that's in the live stream now for staying with me from the beginning to the end. Have a great rest of your night and good luck tomorrow.